So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services from the Aramaic English translation of the Word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets from the lineage of Yitzhak. So then, understanding also from the Quran, where the great Allah has then taught Ibrahim and his son Ishmael the many teachings that were required for him to become then a leader of the Gentiles at the time of the end and also prior of the time of the end. So then it is very important of emphasizing the importance of giving then Ishmael and his descendants their proper place during this time of restoration and reduction. Then from Mashiyach, the 61st chapter, we read, then the cities laid waste for many centuries, regarding then the cities of the Mashiyach, or then the holy tabernacles, as he came out of Jerusalem as the living Torah, the living tabernacle, the living instructions. And then he went to Mount Gerizim, he stayed up there, he was transfigured, then showed up to him in the spirit, Moshe and Elijah, or then Eliyahu, symbolizing then obviously the representative of the law and then representative of the prophets, giving him the okay to go ahead and do his tabernacling, because they were there to make sure every word is spoken. Until after these, on the mountain of Gerizim was completed 100%, both of them gave the okay, and the Mashiyach then was pleased because he was the worthy lamb. That's where we read then in Galah or Revelation then the breaking of the seals. Those people who are given this scoundrelized scripture, they don't understand. They are always confused. They always blaming other people, always trying to find a way out, always hurting others, but never able to give a specific question regarding then what they don't understand, and not even giving an answer for it, because they don't understand the times and the seasons. So then, obviously he was there on the top of Mount Gerizim, he was given the clearance, then he opened the seals. Then when he came down from the mountain, he was ready then to prepare his people for the autumn feast, because then the spring feast was at its closing. He came down from the mountain and he knew, from the time he then opened the seals and he was then descending from the mountain, he knew the next step he would become then the Redemptor. Then he went to Jerusalem, he was then persecuted and placed on a pole, and was 50-32. Prior of his execution on a stake, then he spent 2 Yom creation days with the Samaritans. So then when we read the spring feast, we are reading Creator's language. We are no longer doing an earthly ritual, an earthly mikra. We understand the holy mikra as the substance of the feast itself. When you read then Hebrews 10, Shaul then explained regarding Torah in the shadow prophetic events. We are speaking of the shadows in the spirit, and those are then the spirit, because Elohim is plural. So then when you understand what then Yahweh was doing, he spent 2 Yom creation days with the Samaritans, indicating 2,000 years of Gentile rulership, because then those were the first teachings of the Gentiles. And these leadership of Gentiles, they were already picked. We knew who those people would be. Those were descendants of Ishmael. Those were granted these leadership, though sometimes during the history we don't find, a lot of times, those Ishmaelites truly in charge in every area of Gentiles. But surely, because during the time of restoration and reduction, then we placed importance on the first son of Ibrahim, obviously, because the time of restoration. Prior of this time, we had experienced then 1,000 years of deceit. Then it was absolutely random. Some nations were strong, some nations were weak, then some nations that were strong broke, some nations that were very weak got stronger. But then we are back in line with the prophetic. So the motion has become set under the guard of the prophecies. So then we find ourselves then shifting and understanding. Then the Arab world, or then the descendants of Ishmael, in the future, they are going to give then the forward motion to the Chinese then to implement their computerized system. And then overnight, the world is going to change. A simple download on a computer, and then you are online doing trade with the entire world. That's when you read then in Galah, saying, who can then be against this country? Because the power and the might of China is going to be known throughout the world. However, system-wise, in terms of relationship from country to country, and how they're going to relate each other regarding trade, is going through first the sons of Ishmael. In terms of what they do with their own earnings in their own countries, that's their own. So then when we read then Daniel, then the statue base of Daniel was then iron and clay. We understand the individuality of each country. We know that some countries are going to be strong, some countries weak. We understand then Galah, revelation regarding this country of the East, doing trade worldwide. We understand that knowledge shall increase. And we understand the relationship of then the Ishmaelites and then these countries prospering around the world, preparing then for the autumn feast. Then we find then the Mashiyach afterwards, he left then Samaria and he returned to Jerusalem and he was executed. He was placed on a pole. Thus he became the Redemptor. So then we have step-by-step understanding of this time of the end. Now comes our responsibility before the world of then reviving our industry. We have no other option other than reviving our industry. There is no religion. We understand there is no Christianity. It was invented. Judaism was invented. Those are Takanot Maasim. Christianity is a Mashiyach outside of the Holy of Holies. Those are non-existent. The only factor for us is reviving our industry of the past. That's the only option. And then being trustworthy and do what we say we will do. And don't persecute others without a reason. And studying the scripture. From the time of Ibrahim and Ishmael, understand what went on. We have the Holy Quran for this fact. Later then, the Itzayelic lineage. So then we are acquainted completely of what's coming in the future. So as far as USA, we have no option other than reviving our industry of old. We have to revive it, making sure we work properly, equipment being built, reliable, serviceable, and we have to explore the service part of it. Extremely important. Or we won't be able then to be then a country to do trade in the near future. We have roughly 36 months to get the job done. Otherwise, when the time comes, the Chinese system is released, they download on their computers and they are online. And then our government is absolutely disorganized. There are thieves and liars and scoundrels in our entire government. They are stealing as much as they can. They already have prepared a new headquarters in the Ozarks, in the center of USA. 50 million square under the rocks, air conditioned, crewed. They have buses over there, they have train tracks. So those who are then linked up with the government, they have a place to go. The rest of us, we are at random. And then if a person that you do not want to be faced with the future, you should be more acquainted with it. Because it's true. They were building over there a 72,000 square new headquarters for our government, under the pretense of being from some sort of a contractor of the watch systems. A company doing work for the defense of the country, but the entire location is under a name of a person, is a family residence, where we understand is a fort. And then FEMA camps for those that are non-legals. They already expect unrest coming in the future. And then with unrest, with the money going down, with our country being ruined, and without industry, then we are done. So we've got 36 months to get our country situated, so then we can do trade in the future. When the time comes, what it takes is only a download. So then please stay tuned.